today related to center mass, we have to discuss some more note points. First one, suppose there is a wedge-shaped body, or from the rectangular slab, one's hemispherical surface, hemisphere is removed. One block, one hemispherical part is removed. Okay, here it is the center. It is the center. O. Here this wedge-shaped body is kept over the smooth surface. It is the smooth surface. It is the smooth surface. One body is kept at top of the wedge at this point A. Initially, wedge is at rest and the body is also at rest. Okay, whenever, as long as the body is released, because of gravity, the velocity of the body gradually increases, and as long as the body comes down here, the normal force acts on this wedge. Their component acts on the wedge along the horizontal direction in this direction, so that it will move in this direction and it comes down like this. Okay, whenever it reaches the lowest point, if the, with respect to Earth, if the velocity of this body is say v1 in this direction, what is the velocity of the wedge? v2. That is the question mark. That is the question they asked. Here, along horizontal direction, whenever the body comes down here, because of gravity acts on the body or acts on the block in downward direction, the velocity goes on increase. But along horizontal direction, because of this wedge, normally action acts on them. So when you consider the system of body and this wedge, the force exerted by this surface on this body is the normal reaction, which is the internal force. Internal force does not alter the state position of the center of mass. Initially, the body is here. Initially, the body is at rest. This wedge is also at rest. That's why velocity of center of mass is 0. So along horizontal, initially, before the body is released, it is at rest and wedge is also at rest. That's why initially velocity of center of mass is also equal to 0, because velocity of center of mass is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2 by m1 plus m2 is there. So from that formula, capital M into VCM is equal to, that means mass of the entire system of this wedge and body, m into VCM is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So along horizontal direction, whenever along horizontal direction on the body or on this wedge, no force acts on them. Along vertical direction only gravitational force acts. Here just it is released. That's why only along vertical direction gravitational force acts. Because of that only the body slides down. It is also smooth surface. This surface is also smooth. All surfaces are smooth. Okay, because of gravity only it comes down along vertical direction. Along vertical direction, because of gravity only it comes down, so that its velocity goes on increase. But along horizontal direction, there is no external force acts on the system of block and this wedge. That's why along horizontal direction we can apply the law of conservation of linear momentum, or along horizontal direction we can apply the concept of center of mass velocity formula. We can apply. Okay, so along horizontal direction, according to law of conservation of linear momentum, momentum of this, whenever no external force acts on a system and even internal force acts, then conservation of linear momentum is applicable. The momentum of the center of mass is equal to vector sum of the moment of the all particles. Vector sum of moment of the all particles. Okay, just along horizontal direction I have mentioned. That's why along horizontal direction we have to consider. Whenever the block reaches the lowest point here, at the time suppose the velocity is v1, then whatever the velocity v2. So here initially whenever the block is here, initial velocity is 0. For this also velocity is 0. That's why as the initial velocity is 0, u1 plus m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to VCM by this total mass m. As u1 u2 are 0, initial velocity of center of mass is 0. As internal force acts on the system along horizontal direction and no external force acts, velocity of center of mass does not alter. Initially, before this block is released, as the initial velocity of center of mass is 0, even the block travel like this, the velocity of center of mass along horizontal direction becomes 0 only. Because along horizontal direction there is no force acts on them except internal force. But internal force does not alter the center of mass of the state of central mass of the body. Okay. Law of conservation according to law of conservation of linear momentum. According to law of conservation of linear momentum, Vijay. According to TO2, law of conservation of linear momentum. Okay. So it is 0. M into velocity of central mass 0. M1 means mass of the body, small m. Mass of the wedge, say capital M. into velocity of this body is V1 plus velocity small m2 into velocity of that body. This wedge is V2 along horizontal direction. From this V2 is equal to minus M1 V1 by or small m by, sorry. Okay, you write M1 V1. M1 it is M2, say M1 M2. So M1 V1 by M2. This is the velocity of this particle at the instant whenever the particle comes to the lowest position. It is the maximum speed. So what is the maximum speed of the wedge means whenever the particle reaches the lowest point, at the time as the velocity of the particle becomes maximum, velocity of the wedge also becomes maximum. This is one equation. Next, one more relation we can write. One more relation we can write. Okay. Whenever this body is here, suppose the radius of the radius of hemispherical path is say Kepler. So whenever the body comes from this position to this position, up to through what distance the body comes down means through a distance equal to r now. So it is the lowest point of their path. That's why you take this as the reference line. According to conservation of energy principle, this is the point say B. According to law of conservation of energy principle, here the body comes down because of gravity only. That means conservative force. When work is done by the conservative force, the total energy remains constant, but one form of energy will be converted into another form. Central mass of the sphere, hemisphere, all are here in this zone. Now I want to say today I want to say them. Rutik's SMK. Okay. Right. Whenever the body comes from this position to this position because of gravity, work is done by the gravity only, which is the conservative force. When work is done by the conservative force on a body, then the total mechanical energy does not alter. Total mechanical energy remains constant. So according to law of conservation of energy, total energy of the system when block is at A is equal to total energy of the system when block is at B. Here it is the reference line you take. Whenever the block is here, the potential energy of this body is equal to M1Z into H. H means initially it is at a height Kepler. Plus potential energy of this body means initial position along vertical direction, there is no change in the position of this body. So initial and final. Whenever the block is here or block is here, there is no change in the vertical position of this body. That's why it has no potential energy. Of course, potential energy may be there, but here you will get potential energy. On right side also you will get the same potential energy. They will cancel because there is no change in the potential energy of this body because of along vertical direction. Next, potential energy of this particle is only having potential energy with respect to this. Initially, before it is released, velocity of this block is 0, velocity of the wedge is also 0. That's why kinetic energy is 0. That is equal to. Whenever the block reaches the point here, kinetic energy, potential energy is 0 plus kinetic energy means half m1 v1 square plus kinetic energy of the wedge. Whenever the block comes from this position to this position, there is a velocity, no? There is a velocity for the wedge. That's why whenever the wedge acquires the velocity, then its kinetic energy is half m2 into v2 square. This is the another formula. So these two equations can be written for in this case. The two cases can be written in this case. Okay. So we can apply the conservation of energy principle, and along horizontal direction as no external force acts on the system except internal force, we can apply the conservation of linear momentum, or we can apply the formula for velocity of central mass also. This is the condition. This is one important concept. Okay. Next, second one. Next, one more point. Suppose here it is a simple cute concept. Suppose actually there is there is a heavy string. One end of the string is kept at the wall. The other end is up to this. So total length of the string is equal to total length of the string is say L. Total length of the string is say L. Okay. This end is say A. Now this end of the wire here. This is the total wire. Initially, the total wire is kept along horizontal direction on the smooth floor like this. On smooth floor, this wire is kept. Okay. Here, this end B is held and it is turned like this and it is pulled back with certain velocity. So whenever the second end of the wire is at this point, say B, so that its velocity VB is equal to say V. Its velocity say VB. Here, one rope is kept on the smooth horizontal floor so that this length of the rope is equal to L. Okay, one end of the rope nearer the wall is held and it is moved back and it is moving in backward direction with a speed V. Then, what is the velocity of central mass of upper part of the rope or upper part of the wire? Is how much? What is the velocity of central mass of the upper part of the wire? Okay, here central mass of this upper part means, suppose whenever it is folded like this, this point is this edge of the wire is say this edge of the rope is say C. Then the velocity of central mass of the upper part they ask, because there is no motion in the lower part. There is no motion in the lower part. Lower part is at rest only. That's why velocity of central mass of the lower part is 0. So what is the velocity of central mass of the upper part means? In case of upper part, central mass lies exactly at the midpoint here. Here it is the central mass. So what is the velocity of central mass of the upper part? Velocity of central mass of the upper part is how much? That is the case. Okay. So here, in order to find the velocity of central mass of the this upper part, first you find that total length of the wire. Actually, whenever it is straight, total length of the wire is here, but it is folded like this. So to find the velocity of the central mass here, you see this distance. All distances of the every point must be measured from the fixed support only, fixed body surface only. It is fixed wall, కాబట్టి ఇది fixed అనుకుందాం. Here, this end is at a distance say xb from the rigid support. This end is at a distance say xc from the rigid support. This central mass of the upper part is at a distance say xcm from the rigid support. Okay. Now we have to apply what is the relation between these two. First we have to write relation between these two. XC and XB we have to write. XC and XB. How we can write? You see, if this length is XB, this length is equal to XB minus XC, no? This length is also XC minus XB only, no? Because this part only turned like this. So whatever the, suppose this is a O, OC is equal to CV. OC is equal to CV. Okay. Now you write what is OC? OC is equal to XC. OC is equal to XC. CB means, how we can write CB? CB is equal to, CB means XB minus XC is equal to CB, no? So XC, XB minus XC is equal to XB means this one, XC means this one. XB minus XC is equal to this length, which is equal to XC. So from this, 2XC is equal to XB. 2XB is equal to XC. So therefore, you differentiate them with respect to time. Then 2VC is equal to VB. We can write now. This is equation 1. 2VC is equal to VB. That is the relation between velocity of this end and velocity of this end. Okay. Next, what is the velocity of central mass? To find the velocity of central mass here, first you write distance of central mass XCM is equal to, from the rigid support only, distance of central mass of the upper part. XCM is the distance of central mass of the upper part. If XCM is the distance of center of mass CM of upper part, from O. Then xm is equal to, how we can write? Tell me. xm is equal to, in terms of xc, xm, xc, xa, how we can write? xcm is equal to, you see, xc plus this part, xc. This is xc, no? xc plus this length. This length means half of this length, no? This length is equal to xc. Half of this length means xc by 2. That's why xc by 2. That is equal to 3xc by 2, no? 3xc by 2. We are not given xc value. We are not given xc value. Okay, you differentiate them. If you differentiate this with respect to time, then VCM is equal to 3 by 2 into, if you differentiate xc, you will get VC. But VC is not given, VB is given. So how you can write VB? VC is equal to VB by 2. You substitute here 3 by 2 into VC means VB by 2. VB by 2. That is equal to 3 VB by 4. Therefore, VB is given as V. That's why 3 V by 4. Therefore, velocity of central mass is equal to 3V by 4. This is the velocity of center of mass of the upper part. Velocity of central mass of the velocity of central mass of the upper part. Okay. XB is equal to 2x. Yeah, XB is equal to 2x. I wrote here now. XB is equal to 2x. I wrote here now. XB is equal to 2x. Already I wrote here. Okay. In this way you have to do. I will explain one more thing. Same type concept. Suppose if the two ends of the rope are having velocities. Third one. Suppose here it is the rigid support. Actually, the rope is like this. The rope is like this. This is end A, this is end B. Okay, then by held the end B and end A, both are pulled like this. The end B and end A both are pulled like this. That means that end A and end B both are having velocities. But as the end B is pulled like this, it is pulled in backward direction like this, then the rope will be folded like this and the end B is say here. End B is say here. Of course, whatever this distance is also same. Suppose this is the point, say C. So this is equal to XC, say. Then this is also equal to XC1, you know. If it is XC, this is also equal to XC. Therefore, from the diagram, here, this end is moving with a velocity, say VA in this direction. This end is moving with a velocity, say VB in this direction. Okay, now, what is the relation among VA, VB, and suppose this point, whenever it is pulling like this point is also having some velocity. What is the velocity of this point? We have to find. Okay. All distances you measured from the fixed rigid support only, from this one. Somebody else asked me previously, just now they asked how we got this one. You follow this one, it becomes very easy. It is somewhat difficult compared with this one. Okay. Right, you see. Suppose this end, all distances must be measured from the rigid support only. This end A is at a distance XA at certain instant. At that instant, end B is at a distance. End B is at a distance XB. Okay. End C is at a distance, this edge C is at a distance XC from the rigid support. The center of mass of the upper part, means XCU. That is at this much distance, XCU. The distance of the central mass of the upper part, it is central mass. So XCU, that means distance of central mass of upper part. Similarly, for this lower part, as this also moving with a velocity V, definitely it is also having this lower part is also having central mass moving with certain velocity. So central mass of the lower part is say this one. Then distance of central mass of the lower part, xc, lower part means L. So xcu means distance of central mass of upper part with respect to wall or with respect to fixed body. xcl, distance of central mass of lower part with respect to wall or from the wall. Okay, these are given. Now, by using this, first we have to write the relation between total length of the wire. How we can write? Total length of the wire. How we can write? No doubt, this length and this length both are equal. That's why xc is equal to xb is equal to this length. Xb is equal to first one relation. Xb is equal to, we can write xc plus xc, 2xc. Okay, that implies Vb is equal to, when you differentiate this one, you will get Vb is equal to 2 into Vc, you will get, that is equation 1. Next, how we can write this XA? XA is equal to, you see, from this diagram, XA is equal to this length. Okay, XA, you write in terms of L. Here, total length of the wire. Total length of the wire is say L. This total length is L. Total length of the wire L is equal to, how we can write? Tell me. Total length of the wire means XA minus XC is the length of this part of the wire. So XA minus XC is this length of the wire plus this length gives total length of the wire. Okay, plus length of this wire means XB minus XC, we can write now. XB means this one minus XC gives this length. Okay, that's why this is equal to XB minus XC. Therefore, this is equal to, have you got this idea? Are you understood this line, this constant relation? This is the constant relation. Are you followed this constant relation? Okay, so from this XA plus XB minus 2XC minus 2XC. Okay, so this is L. Now we differentiate this equation. When you differentiate this equation, even the wire is folded like this and these two are pulled with a different velocities or same velocities, whatever it may be, total length of the wire does not change with the time. That's why when you differentiate this with respect to time, it becomes 0. So dl by dt, that is equal to 0, which is equal to dxa by dt means Va plus dxb by dt means Vb minus 2 into dxc by dt means Vc. Okay, that implies 2 Vc is equal to Va plus Vb by Va plus Vb, implies Vc is equal to Va plus Vb by 2. So this is equation 2. Okay, now what is the velocity of edge C? As we are no doubt we will be given Vb and Va. Va Vb values ever istaru. Va Vb values ichesi what is the velocity of this edge C? And Va Vb ichadatu edge C యొక్క velocity by using this formula we can calculate. That is one. Next, what is the velocity of central mass of the upper part? What is the velocity of central mass of the upper part? They asked. For that, from this diagram, xc is equal to velocity of center of mass of upper part. Upper part VCU is equal to question mark. Velocity of central mass of the upper part. Adi find out cheyalante distance of central mass of the upper part xcu ki relation rayali in terms of known parameter. From the diagram, xcu is equal to, you see, xcu is equal to, we can write xc plus xc by 2 we can write now. because this is xc, this is xc. xc plus this length is equal to xc by 2. That's why xc plus xc by 2, that is equal to 3xc by 2. You differentiate them. Therefore, VCU is equal to 3 by 2 into VC. 3 by 2 into VC means already we got here in terms of A and B. So VA plus VB by 2, right? VA plus VB by 2. Therefore, velocity of central mass of the upper part is equal to 3 by 4 into VA plus VB. Okay, this is the velocity of central mass of the upper part. Next, velocity of central mass of the lower part. Velocity of central mass of lower part. Velocity of central mass of lower part, VCL. VCL. That is equal to question mark. Velocity of central mass of lower part means first you write the distance of central mass of the lower part from the rigid support, that is XCL. XCL is equal to, how we can write in terms of known parameter. XCL is equal to, this is equal to XA minus, this is XA. XA minus, here we can write, you see, XA my XCL, that means this length we need. This length we need. That is equal to XCA minus XC, we can write now. XCA is this one, XC means this one. That is equal to this length. In that half of the length, this one. You see, XCL means E length నుంచి దీన్ని సపరేట్, సారీ XCL కదా మనకు కావాల్సింది, అంటే ఈ లెంత్ నుంచి దీన్ని సపరేట్ చేయండి. మనకి XCL అంటే ఈ లెంత్ కావాలి. In order to find this length, XC plus this one. So XC plus this length. ఈ లెంత్ ని in terms of A నోట్ చేద్దాం. ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి XA అండి. ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి XA. ఓకే, దాంట్లో దీని లెంత్ ఎంత? XA minus XC. దాంట్లో హాఫ్ ఏగా ఈ లెంత్. XA minus XC by 2, that is this length. XA minus XCL. XA, ఈ XA లో నుంచి XC వాల్యూ సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తే from this XA మనకు కావాల్సింది XCL అండి. XCL అంటే ఈ డిస్టెన్స్ కావాలి, దట్ ఈస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఈ XCA లో నుంచి దీన్ని సపరేట్ చేయండి. XCA లో నుంచి అంటే మనం ఫస్ట్ ఈ లెంత్ రాయాలి. ఫస్ట్ XA, సో మనకి XCL కావాలండి, ఈ లెంత్ కావాలి అంటే XC ప్లస్ ఈ లెంత్ రాయాలి. వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ లెంత్? దీని యొక్క టోటల్ లెంత్ ని హాఫ్ చేస్తే ఈ లెంత్ వస్తుంది కదా. టోటల్ లెంత్ అంటే XA మైనస్ XC వేస్తే ఈ లెంత్ వస్తుంది. దాంట్లో హాఫ్ అంటే by 2. This is the XCL. So this is equal to LCM తీస్తే XC plus XA by 2 you will get now. Therefore, velocity of central mass of lower part is equal to, దీన్ని డిఫరెన్షియేట్ చేస్తే VC plus VA by 2 కదా వచ్చేది. VC అంటే మనకి VC వల్ల ఓన్లీ we are given VA and VB. VC అంటే VA plus VB by 2 నోట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా. So instead of VC you write VA plus VB by 2, keep in brackets, plus VA whole by 2. Therefore, velocity of central mass of lower part is equal to, when you take LCM, 3VA plus VB by 2. By already 2 is there, that's why by 4. So this is the velocity of central mass of the lower part. So velocity of central mass of the lower part is that one, velocity of central mass of the upper part. Both are derived. Okay, so in this way we have to do. Next, have you noted this one? XCL differentiation means, you see, XCL differentiation means with respect to time we have to differentiate. dxCL by dt is equal to d by dt of this one, 1 by 2 keep aside, dxc by dt plus dxa by dt. dxc by dt means velocity of C plus dxa by dt means velocity of A by 2. but VC is equal to, we got from this formula VA plus VB by 2. That's why I substituted here. After simplification, we got this one. Okay, right. Rakshit, what is your doubts? Two VC is equal to VB. Where 2VC is equal to VB? 2VC is equal to VB. Where you substitute? Tell me. 2VC is equal to VB. Where you will substitute? XA minus XC by 2. You see? This length is equal to, from this XA you subtract this part. Then XA minus XC is equal to this length of the wire. As it is the central mass, this length is half of that one. XA minus XC by 2, that is this length, plus XC, that is the distance of central mass of the lower part from the rigid support. So XC plus XA minus XC by 2, that only I wrote. Okay. Next. From 1 and 2. From 1 to. No, it is the constraint relation we got. From this or from this we got. From this or from this, this is the relation we got. This is the relation we got. VB is equal to 2VC. VB is equal to 2VC. Okay. From this relation or from this relation, we got a relation between VB and VC. VB and VC. It is the relation between VB and VC. It is the, okay, I will unmute you, Rakshit. Rakshit.
Sir.
చెప్పండి.
Sir, VB equals to 2VC అని ఈక్వేషన్ 1 లో వచ్చింది కదా సార్?
అవును.
అదే వాల్యూ ఈక్వేషన్ 3 లో ఉంది కదా, 2VC equals to VA plus VB అని. ఆడ 2VC బదులు VB పెడితే క్యాన్సిల్ అయ్యి VA equals to 0 వచ్చేస్తుంది కదా సార్?
లేదమ్మా, ఈ కన్స్టెంట్ రిలేషన్ అయినా ఈ కన్స్టెంట్ రిలేషన్ అయినా మనకు వచ్చేది ఇట్లా రిలేషన్ వస్తుంది. VB is equal to 2VC. ఓకే. సార్. కన్స్టెంట్ రిలేషన్ ఒకటే, దాని నుంచి మళ్ళీ దాంట్లో సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే 0 నే వచ్చేది.
అర్థమైంది సార్. అంటే ఫస్ట్ వచ్చిన ఈక్వేషన్ నుంచి లింక్ చేసుకొని మనం మళ్ళీ థర్డ్ ఈక్వేషన్
తీసుకుంటాం. ఈ రెండు ఒకటే రిలేషన్స్, ఇంకా వాటి నుంచి మనం VC VB VA మధ్య రిలేషన్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేసాం. ఓకే.
ఓకే సార్, అర్థమైంది సార్.
రైట్, నెక్స్ట్ వన్. Shall I write this one? Okay, next. Next note point, fourth one. Suppose there is a uniform rod. There is a uniform rod kept vertically on the smooth horizontal surface. It's very, very important one. Here on the smooth horizontal surface, a rod of length L, the length of the rod is L, that is kept vertically. Center of mass of the rod lies here, exactly at the midpoint. Center of mass of the rod lies exactly at the midpoint. Mass of the rod is say M. Here we have taken one rod, uniform rod of mass M and length L. The center of mass of the rod lies exactly at the midpoint. Center of mass of the rod lies exactly at the midpoint. Suppose this rod is given a small impulse. Impulse means just it's pushed like this. The rod is just pushed like this. The rod is just pushed like that. Okay. It's not page number, it is the concept. Okay, Satish. Satish. It is the concept, it is not the problem. Okay. So here, this rod is kept vertically and just it is pushed like this. Then what happens? Tell me. The lower end is not fixed. Just this rod is kept on the smooth horizontal surface like this vertically. If it is pushed like this, then what about the rod? The rod falls now. The impulse means it is just given a small impulse. That means it is just pushed like this suddenly and released. Okay, so whenever it is just given a small impulse and pushed in forward direction, when you release them, then what happens? What about the rod? Is it still remains like this only or it falls? Is it remains there only or falls? It falls now. While falling at some instant of time, you see, while falling here, this lower part will move back and upper part turns like this. While falling, the lower part move back because whenever it is pushed like this, the lower part move in this direction, upper part move in this direction, so that the rod turns like this. The rod turns like this. Just it is given a small push and release it. It is given a small push. What Sunil Babu, what happened to you? Sunil Babu, what happened to you? Sunil Babu, what happened to you? Okay. So whenever this rod is pushed or given a small impulse like this, and when you release them, it turns like this and falls. While falling, at some instant of time, here the entire rod will not move because there is no friction here. Whenever friction is not there, it will not move in forward direction because force is not applied continuously. Just it is displaced from vertical position. It is given a small impulse like this and it is released. So it turns like this. Whenever it is turned like this, because of gravity acts on the rod vertically downwards direction. That gravitational force or gravity acts at the center mass of the rod and it pulls the center mass downwards. But along horizontal direction, there is no force that acts on them because it is a smooth surface. As it is the smooth surface, here this rod will not move in forward direction. Here, as it is the smooth surface, when you push like this, the lower part move in this direction, upper part move like this, so that about the center mass it turns like this. But at the same time, because of gravity, the center mass moving along vertical direction downwards. Center mass దగ్గర weight పనిచేస్తుంది కాబట్టి దానివల్ల center mass downwards direction మూవ్ అవుతుంది. తర్వాత రాడ్ ఏమిటో టర్న్ అవుతుంది. అంతేగాని టోటల్ రాడ్ ఫార్వర్డ్ డైరెక్షన్ లో ట్రావెల్ చేయదు. Okay, whenever the rod is tilting like this, at certain instant of time, suppose the position of the rod is say like this. At certain instant of time, center mass only travel upward, vertical direction only, because gravitational force acts on the rod or acts on the center mass only along vertically downwards direction. That's why center mass turns vertically downwards direction only, moves vertically downwards direction only. There is no horizontal motion for the center of mass. Okay, here at certain instant of time, I will draw large diagram because we cannot understand the diagram if the diagram is very small. So I will draw large diagram. Here it is the central mass. Okay. Suppose after some time central mass it turns like this and the rod falls like this. Okay, then whenever the central mass is here, the position of the rod is like this. The position of the rod is like this. Here just it is given a small push and it is released. Just it is given a small push and released so that it does not move forward. It just turns like this. It slips in backward direction and it turns like this because of impulse. So that as long as it turns like this, the central mass slowly comes down and finally the rod falls on the surface. Whenever the rod falls on the surface, the central mass exactly reaches the bottom at this point. There is no horizontal displacement of the central mass because on the central mass along horizontal direction there is no force acts. Only gravitational force acts on the central mass vertically downwards direction. That's why central mass will displace vertically downwards. And whenever the rod reaches the surface of the ground, then the rod comes like this, so that central mass is here. What is the displacement of the central mass? Initially, central mass is here. Finally, whenever the rod reaches the horizontal floor like this, central mass reaches the floor here. What is the displacement of the central mass? The length of the rod is equal to L. Then what is the displacement of central mass? What is the displacement of central mass? What is the displacement of central mass? L by, yeah. No. Initially, central mass is at a height L by 2. So whenever the rod completely falls on the floor, the central mass displaces by L by 2 and reaches the ground. That's why L by 2 is the displacement of the central mass now. When rod falls completely onto floor, then displacement of central mass vertically downwards is YCM is equal to L by 2. But at the instant whenever the rod makes an angle theta, at that time what should be the acceleration of the central mass? What should be the acceleration of the central mass? While the rod is turned like this, the weight of the rod acts vertically downwards direction here, mg, and at the same time as this end of the rod is in contact with the horizontal floor, then this horizontal floor exerts some normal action on this end in upward direction. So totally on the rod there are two forces acts, weight in downwards direction and normal action in upward direction. So what is the acceleration of the central mass? Therefore, acceleration of central mass is equal to net force acts on the rod, weight mg downwards, n upwards. Even then, as the rod comes down, central mass comes down. Then acceleration of central mass is equal to weight minus normal action by mass of the rod. This is the acceleration of the center of mass. Acceleration of center of mass. Okay, this is equation 1. It is the acceleration of the center of mass. First one, this is A, this is B. Okay, next. Whenever the rod makes an angle theta with the horizontal, at that time, suppose if you consider any particle in their path, any particle on the rod, any point on the rod, what is the nature of motion of that path? When you consider any point in the rod, whenever the rod is falling like this, the central mass travel along vertically downwards direction only. At that time, what is the nature of motion of the point considered in the rod at this point? Okay, here, suppose this is the point say P, which is at a distance R from the end where it is in contact with the floor. from the end which is in contact with the floor, the point considered is at a distance r. Of course, from the central mass up to the end of the rod, the distance is equal to half of the length of the rod, we know. Okay, now from this point to draw a horizontal line. So what is the nature of motion of this point we have to write? Suppose the lower point on the ground to which central mass reaches is say O. Then the point P, at the instant whenever the rod makes an angle theta with the horizontal, the point P is at a vertical distance y. At a vertical distance y from the origin. Y from the origin. Okay. And this point P is at a distance x from the origin along horizontal direction. From this point P, draw a vertical line. Then this is the distance of this point P along x-axis, which is say x. From the diagram, what about x and y values? From the diagram, what about x value first? If you know x and y value, then we can write we can say what is the path along which this point P travel. రాడ్ ఇట్లా కిందకి ఫాలో అవుతున్నప్పుడు ఈ మనం కన్సిడర్ చేసిన ఏదైనా పాయింట్ ఆ పాయింట్ ఏ పాత్ లో ట్రావెల్ చేస్తుంది. సెంట్రల్ మాస్ మాత్రం డెఫినెట్ గా అలాంగ్ వెర్టికల్ డైరెక్షన్ ట్రావెల్. కానీ మనం కన్సిడర్ చేసిన ఈ పాయింట్ ఏ పాత్ అమ్మడి ట్రావెల్ చేస్తుంది. ఆ పాత్ కావాలి. పాత్ కావాలంటే అబౌట్ ద సెంటర్ అబౌట్ ద ఆరిజిన్ హియర్ ఎక్స్ వై రిలేషన్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలి. ఎక్స్ వాల్యూ ఎంత? ఈ ఎక్స్ వాల్యూ అంటే ఒకసారి ఇక్కడ చూడండి. ఈ ఎక్స్ వాల్యూ అంటే ఈ డిస్టెన్స్. ఇది కావాలంటే ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి L/2 అండి. అప్పుడు హారిజాంటల్ డిస్టెన్స్ ఎంత? L/2 cos theta. L/2 cos theta నుంచి ఈ డిస్టెన్స్ సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేయాలి. దిస్ డిస్టెన్స్ ఇస్ r. r cos theta ఈ డిస్టెన్స్. ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడ ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ origin to this end distance is L/2 cos theta and this distance is r cos theta. L/2 cos theta minus r/2 cos theta. r cos theta gives this distance now. So x is equal to L/2 cos theta minus r cos theta. So L/2 minus r, you take cos theta common. Cos theta common. It is x value. This is equation 1. Similarly, what about the y value? What about the y value? In this triangle only, in this right angle triangle only, you take sin theta. Sin theta is equal to y by r. We can write now. Sin theta is equal to y by r. Therefore, sin, we know this is a equation 2. Sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Sin theta means this one, y by r. So y by r whole square, y by r whole square plus cos square theta means x by L/2 minus r whole square, that is equal to 1. So from this y square by r square plus x square by L/2 minus r whole square is equal to 1. Therefore it is just like y square by r. Once the point is considered on the rod here, the distance of this point from this end does not alter. So r is constant. L/2 is constant, L/2 is constant, r is constant. That's why this is also constant. This constant is say a, this constant is say b. So b square. Okay, plus this bracket term is say a, then x square by a square. That is equal to 1. Since where a is equal to L/2 minus r, b is equal to r. Okay, then x square by, therefore from this x square by a square plus y square by b square is equal to 1. No? What is the equation? What is this equation? Very good. Elliptical path. If a and b are equal, that becomes circle. But a and b are different here. A is equal to r, b is equal to L/2. That's why these two are L/2 minus r. That's why these two are different. As these two are different, then definitely it is the ellipse. Therefore, the path of from this equation, third one, the path of P is ellipse or elliptical path. Ellipse. That is very, very important. Okay. Suppose if you consider exactly the midpoint, if you consider exactly okay, this elliptical path, that is important. Suppose if you consider this point, Exactly the midpoint. Midpoint means central mass of the rod. If you consider this point means this R is equal to L by 2. When you substitute R is equal to L by 2 there, when you substitute R is equal to L by 2, what you will get? When you substitute R is equal to L by 2, then something by 0, infinity. This is infinity. This becomes infinity. Okay. So y square by R square is equal to infinity is equal to 1, or y square by R square is equal to minus infinity. Y square by R square is equal to minus infinity. No, you will get, you see, here R square you take common, then L by 2 by 1, something means you will get infinity only here. Something by 0 means infinity. No, you will get, you see, whenever these two are equal, if these two are equal, then you will get, if it is the midpoint, if R is equal to midpoint means these two are equal. If R is the midpoint of the rod, then these two are equal. If R is the midpoint, these two are equal. This length and this length both are equal. When these two are equal, then x square plus y square is equal to 1 square you will get. X square plus y square is equal to 1, R square you will get. X square plus y square is equal to R square means that is the circular path. That's why if you consider the any end point, ఈ పాయింట్ కన్సిడర్ చేసాం అనుకోండి, ఈ పాయింట్ కన్సిడర్ చేస్తే మనకి ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఆ డిస్టెన్స్ L కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ L, ఇదేమో L by 2 minus L, అంటే ఇది ఒక L by 2 వస్తుంది. Of course that is also ellipse only. No, we will get ellipse only. So if other than center, other than midpoint, if you consider any point on this rod, you will get the ellipse. If you consider only the center of mass, then that is a straight line. Y is equal something in వస్తుంది, that's why you will get a straight line. Okay, next. How B is equal to R? Siddharth, what is B there? Here B square is equal to R square means B is equal to R only, no? Here this is constant. This R is taken as B. That's why R square means B square. L by R minus R is taken as A. That's why L by 2 minus R whole square means A square. Okay, right. So this concept is also important. Next, note point. Here there is a smooth horizontal rod fixed between two rigid supports. There is a smooth horizontal rod fixed between two rigid supports. Smooth, it is the smooth rod. It is smooth rod. Rod is smooth. Horizontal smooth rod. Okay. Here a ring is passed through the smooth rod. A ring is passed over the smooth rod, and the position of the ring at initial, the position of the ring is this one. It is the position of the ring. The lower edge of the ring is connected to one end of the light string. And that is fixed to a block having certain mass. Suppose here mass of the ring M1 is equal to M, mass of the block M2 is equal to say 2M. Here you see the mass of this block is 2m, mass of this ring is m. Here the ring is passed over the rod, and to the lower end of the ring, one light string is connected, and it is connected to the other block of mass 2m or m2. This ring can be moved freely along the length of the rod. The ring can be moved freely along the length of the rod. In such a way, arrangement is there. Suppose if you release them, what happens? When you release this block directly, just you release this block, what happens? When you release the block, because of gravitational force, the block comes down. While block is coming down, as this block is connected by means of a string, then as it is coming down like this, the string exerts some force on the block in this direction, and at the same time the same tension acts on the ring in this direction. That's why here whenever the block comes down like this, along vertical direction, you see initially the ring is here and the block is here. The central mass of the ring block system lies exactly at on the line joining the two bodies somewhere here. Suppose as the mass of this block is greater than this one, the central mass lies exactly at this point. C. It is the central mass of the ring and the block. What is the distance? What is this distance? This distance. And what about this distance? This is say x1, this is say x2. x1 plus x2 is equal to length of the string only, no? x1 plus x2 is equal to length of the string. Okay, what about x1? What about x1? Here m1, m2 masses are separated by a distance r. R is equal to L. Then distance of central mass from the first body, that is x1. Here we have taken x1. This is a origin. Then x1 is equal to m2 into, that means m2 means 2m. Of course, m2 by m1 plus m2 into r. R means total distance between these two. Similarly, what about x2 means? x2 is equal to m1 by m1 plus m2 into m. What about m2? Substitute the data. m2 means 2m by m1 plus m2 means m plus 2m into L. L is the length of the string between the ring and block. This is equal to, when you simplify them, then you will get 2L by 3. Here you will get L by 3, of course, because it is m by m plus 2m means L by 3 you will get. So central mass lies exactly at this point, so that is at a distance L by 3, that is at a distance 2L by 3 and from the ring, and L by 3 from the block. Now this block is released from this position. What happens? When the block is released from this position, at certain instant of time, when here the central mass of the ring block system lies at this point. Whenever the block is released, then because of gravity, the block comes down like this. Whenever the block comes down like this, if string is not there, block falls vertically. But whenever the block is coming down, as string is connected to this, the string exerts some force on the block in this direction. At the same time, the tension of the string pulls the ring in this direction, so that ring comes in this direction, block comes like this. So at certain instant, whenever the block comes to the lowest point in their path, block comes to the lowest point in their path. Of course, there are two conditions, two cases are there. Whenever block makes certain angle, whenever the string which joins the ring and block makes certain angle, at that time, initially block is at this point, initially ring is at this point and block is at this point B. Those points first I have to draw here. This is the point A, this is the point B. Of course, this distance is equal to x2. This distance is equal to x1. We know. Whenever block is released, at the time the block coming down, while block is coming down, the tension of the string pulls the block in this direction. The tension of the string pulls the ring in this direction. So here we see, after some time the ring displaces in this direction and the block displaces downwards, so that the block reaches this position. The block reaches this position. It is the central mass of the block ring system. Along horizontal axis, you see, at the instant whenever the block is released, whenever the string makes an angle theta with horizontal, at that time, the position of the block here, while the block is coming down like this, at such instant whenever the string makes an angle theta with horizontal, at that time, or whenever the string makes an angle theta with vertical, you take theta with vertical, because same formula you will get. When the string makes an angle theta with vertical, at that time you see the central mass of the ring block system does not displaces along horizontal direction, because actually at this instant, suppose the tension of the string is at T, the tension T pulls the ring in this direction, same tension T pulls the block in this direction. Whenever the tension pulls the ring in this direction, the tension component acts in this direction. T, suppose it is say theta, then it is T sin theta. With this T sin theta tension, the ring is pulled in this direction. That's why ring will move in this direction. The tension T pulls the block in this direction. That's why the block cannot comes down directly. Okay, it will travel along this path like this. Here, but the force exerted by one body on the other body due to string, that is the internal force. The tension is the internal force. Internal force does not alter the center of mass. Internal force does not alter the center of mass position. Here, along horizontal direction, no force acts on this system. It's only ఈ రింగ్ నుంచి ఇటువైపు మోయేటప్పుడు ఫ్రిక్షన్ లేదు, ఇక్కడ స్మూత్ రాడ్ అని చెప్పి ఆల్రెడీ ఇక్కడ నోట్ చేసాం, స్మూత్. కాబట్టి while the ring is moving towards right, no friction force acts. On this block also along horizontal direction there is no friction, there is no external force acts on them. The block exerts some force on the ring, that is the internal force, or the ring exerts the force on the block with the string, that is the tension, that is the internal force. Because here internal force does not alter the state of central mass. కాబట్టి horizontal direction లో దీని మీద ఏ ఫోర్స్ పనిచేయట్లేదు, కాబట్టి central mass పొజిషన్ అనేది మారదు. అందువల్ల బ్లాక్ ఇటువైపుకి వస్తుంది అనుకోండి, ఆటోమేటిక్ గా central రింగ్ ఇటువైపు మూవ్ అవ్వాలి. ఎందుకంటే central mass అదే పొజిషన్ దగ్గర ఉండాలంటే whenever the block comes in this direction, ring moves in this direction. Okay, at the instant whenever the string makes an angle theta with vertical, at that time the displacement of the ring is say delta x1, and the displacement of the block, initially block is here, whenever the block comes to this position, the displacement of the block in this direction, here the block is here, so the displacement of the block in this direction is equal to delta x2. Now what is this x1 plus x2? x1 plus x2 is equal to length of the string, already we wrote here. Okay, now this is the length of the string L. Their component along this direction is equal to L sin theta. Now this length is equal to L sin theta. Okay, what about this here? This one, it is A dash, it is say B dash. A dash is equal to delta x1 plus this length is equal to, in this right angle triangle, the component of this length of the string along horizontal is equal to L sin theta, we can write now, because if it is theta, this is theta. If it is L, this component is equal to L sin theta. So this A dash B dash is equal to L sin theta plus this delta x2, that gives distance between A and B. Distance between A and B is equal to L. Distance between A and B is equal to L, or which is equal to x1 plus x2. That's why this is equal to L. This is equal to L. Okay, therefore what about the velocity? What about the velocity of the bodies? We have to find. Okay, from this here delta x1 plus delta x2 is equal to L minus L sin theta, or delta x1 plus delta x2 is equal to L of 1 minus sin theta. L of 1 minus sin theta. Okay. But this is a equation. These are the equations 1 and 2. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 3. Here central mass always comes down along vertical direction only. Along horizontal direction, as no force acts on the system, there is no displacement of the central mass along horizontal direction. Along vertical direction, on the system, as the gravitational force acts along vertical direction, central mass will displace along vertical direction only. So here it is still the central mass of the system only. ఇది ఎప్పుడు సెంట్రల్ మాస్ పొజిషన్ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి ఇది ఈ లెంత్ x2 అవుతుంది, ఈ లెంత్ x1 అవుతుంది, అదేం చేంజ్ కాదు. కాబట్టి ఈ బ్లాక్ ఇటువైపు డిస్ప్లేస్ అవుతుంది, ఈ బ్లాక్ ఇటువైపు డిస్ప్లేస్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ యూ అప్లై ద కన్జర్వేషన్ ఆఫ్ linear momentum along horizontal direction. Conservation of linear momentum along horizontal direction. దాని నుంచి డెల్టా x1 డెల్టా x2 వాల్యూస్ ఎట్లా ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలి? Here because of internal forces this ring displaces through distance delta x1 along horizontal direction, this displaces through distance delta x2. So according to the velocity of central mass along horizontal direction, along horizontal, you see along horizontal means initial గా ఈ బ్లాక్ ఇక్కడ ఉంది, ఈ బ్లాక్ ఈ రింగ్ ఇక్కడ ఉంది, అంటే ఈ పొజిషన్ ఈ రెండు రెస్ట్ లో ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి along horizontal direction there is no velocity of central mass. కాబట్టి దీన్ని రిలీజ్ చేసిన తర్వాత కూడా along horizontal direction central mass కి ఎటువంటి velocity ఉండకూడదు, because along horizontal direction there is no motion to the central mass, there is no external force acts on the system. కాబట్టి along horizontal direction VCM is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2 by m1 plus m2. Here v1 is the velocity of this ring along horizontal direction, v2 is the block velocity along horizontal direction. And whenever the string makes an angle theta with vertical, at that time velocity of the ring along horizontal direction is v1, velocity of the block along horizontal direction is say v2. Okay, but along horizontal direction as there is no force acts on the system, so along horizontal direction initially as the central mass is at rest, still the central mass is at rest only along horizontal direction. That's why velocity of central mass along x-axis is equal to 0. Therefore from this m1 v1 plus m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equal to 0, or m1 v1 is equal to minus m2 into v2. m1 means mass of the ring, that is given as m, into velocity of the ring along x-axis v1, that is equal to minus m2 means 2m into velocity of the block along x-axis is v2. Minus sign represents if velocity v1 is towards right, velocity v2 is in opposite direction. So from this v1 is equal to minus 2v2. This is equation 4. Minus sign represents only the block has velocity along horizontal direction opposite to that of the velocity of the ring. Ring is always constrained to move along horizontal direction only. Okay, కాబట్టి ఇది ఇటువైపు వస్తూ ఉంటుంది. Now from this formula m into v1 can be written as, you see, in delta t seconds suppose the ring displaces through a distance delta x1, that's why m into delta. Okay, here from this you write from 2 or from 4 v1 is equal to minus 2v2. they got v1 means delta x1 by delta t is equal to minus 2 into v2 delta x2 by delta t, delta x2 by delta t. Here delta t cancel, so delta x1 is equal to minus delta into x2. Here just minus sign represents only that this will move in backward direction or opposite direction. అయితే ఇది delta x1 ఇటువైపు తీసినప్పుడు delta x2 దానికి opposite direction ఉంది కాబట్టి we put minus sign, then it becomes plus. So the relation between delta x1 and delta x2 is this one. This is the equation 5. From this equation now, from that equation you substitute the data from this equation from 3. Delta x1 plus delta x2 is equal to L into 1 minus sin theta. Therefore delta x1 you keep like this only, or if you want to find the delta x1 value, theta is already given. Theta is whenever theta is called 37 degree, at that time what is the velocity of the ring and velocity of the block they asked. Okay, so from this how we can find the delta x1 and delta x2 value? Delta x1 plus delta x2 means we can write delta x1 by 2 is equal to L into 1 minus sin theta. So from this 3 delta x1 by 2 is equal to L into 1 minus sin theta, or delta x1 is equal to 2L by 3 into 1 minus sin theta. This is delta x1 value. This is equation 6. Similarly delta x2 value is how much? Delta x is equal to delta x1 by 2. Delta x1 by 2. That means here if you substitute delta x1 Here 2 will be cancelled. Then L by 3 into 1 minus sin theta. It is delta x1 value and delta x2 value. Okay, now we apply the conservation of energy principle also. Shall I write this one? You have to remember this formula. V1 is equal to minus 2V2. You have to remember this formula. Shall I erase this one? Here M2. Here this is M2. Okay. This is M2. M2 V2. M1 V1 plus M2 V2. M2 V2 along horizontal action by M1 plus M2. M1 V1 plus M2 V2 is equal to 0 or M1 V1 is equal to minus M2 V2. Okay. Right. Shall I erase that one? You have to remember this formula. This is important. Just I will erase this only. So in this way, V1, V2 relations we obtain. And what is the, whenever the displacement of the block is delta x2, what is the displacement of the ring? They may ask. In such case, the relation is this one. This is also important one. Okay, next, what about the velocities relation? What about the velocities relation? Already we got V1 is equal to minus 2V2 we got. This is, I think, fourth equation we got. From fourth equation we got this one. Okay, now you apply the conservation of energy principle. You apply the conservation of energy principle. We can apply the conservation of energy principle also for this. It is the velocity along x-axis. This is also velocity along x-axis only. We substituted along x-axis. Okay, next. According to law of conservation of energy principle. According to law of conservation of energy principle. You see, whenever this block is here only, at that time, this is the reference line you take. This is the reference line. So initially, whenever the block is here, it is having potential energy. That potential energy is equal to M2Z into this height. This height is equal to L cos theta, no? So L cos theta. Because it is L, this is theta. So this height is equal to L cos theta, no? So initially, whenever this block is released, this block is at this height from the reference line. That's why MgL cos theta is the potential energy. Initially, before releasing, these two rings are having no velocity. That's why kinetic energy 0 is equal to. Now, whenever the block is here, suppose if the velocity of this ring is V1 and velocity of this block is say V2, it is V2x. Velocity of this block is say V2. V2 means that is along this direction as it is coming down now. So, whenever the block is here, the ring is having kinetic energy half M1 V1 square plus block is having kinetic energy half M2 into the speed is say V2 square. Of course, as it is the string, it has no energy stored in this one. There is no extension also. If it is a spring, so energy stored in the spring also we have to consider. But it is the string. That's why this is only the relation. In this, x component of velocity is there, y component of velocity is also there. So in this way, we can write the relation between velocities. Okay. Here V2. Suppose the vertical component of velocity at this time is say V2y. Then V2 is equal to square root of V2x whole square plus V2y whole square. Okay, next. What is the maximum tension in the string? They may ask. Maximum tension in the string developed in the string is how much? Already I sent the notes to you. You read this concept slowly. Then you can understand easily. So here, what is the maximum possible velocity of the ring? They may ask. What is the maximum possible velocity of the ring? And what is the maximum tension developed in the string? Next one. Maximum possible velocity of ring. V1 max. At any instant of time, whenever the angle made by the string with vertical is theta, velocity of the ring is V1. V1 V2 relation we got. V1 V2 means V1 is x is equal to along x axis V1 x is equal to minus 2 into V2 x. Here V1 x or V1 or V1 x both are same because it is always travel along x axis. For maximum possible velocity of the ring, the block must comes to the lowest point in their path. Here initially the ring is here, the block is here, central mass is here, central mass at point O, central mass lies. Whenever the ring reaches the position of the central mass, the block comes down vertically like this. Here this is the string of length L. It is the mass M2, it is the mass M1. At the time it is having only velocity towards right, it is having velocity towards right, it is having velocity towards left. So at the time as the block comes down to the lowest position, it loses maximum potential energy, that is converted into kinetic energy. So in this time, at this position of the block, the velocity of the ring becomes maximum. So you apply the conservation of energy principle here. According to conservation of energy principle, according to law of conservation of energy principle, according to law of conservation of energy principle, here it is the lowest point, so it is the reference line. From the reference line, before the block reaches here, ring is here and block is here. That's why it is having only potential energy M2Z into H. H means L is equal to, whenever the block comes to the lowest position, it loses potential energy, but its velocity is V2. That's why it acquires the kinetic energy. At the same time, ring reaches this position. Whenever the block comes down here, the central mass of the ring block system exactly reaches the point here. The central mass of the ring block system move vertically downwards direction only. At the time, whenever the block reaches the lowest point, ring reaches the position of the central mass. As the string becomes vertical, at the time central mass is on the string only at this point. So at that time, the velocity of the ring is say V1. So kinetic energy of the ring is half M1 V1 square plus kinetic energy of the block is half M2 V2 square. This is one under equation. Say it is 6, it is 7. Okay. So by this we can find the velocity of the ring. By this we can find the velocity of the ring. If you know the velocity of the ring, what about the tension in the string? What about the tension in the string? Already V1 V2 relations I said. Along x-axis relation between velocities. Here it is along x-axis, it is also along x-axis. That's why we can write V1 is equal to minus 2V2. Only this is not having any component because it is the velocity component, velocity along x-axis only. That's why V1 is equal to minus 2V2 we can write. Suppose if you want to obtain the maximum velocity, in this formula, instead of V2 you substitute V1 by 2, you will get maximum velocity. So from this equation, it is 4 we got. So from 4 and 7, V1 maximum can be calculated. Similarly, V2 maximum can be calculated. V2 max. If V1 is maximum, V2 is also maximum. Okay, next, what about the tension in the string at this position? Tension in the string is maximum, that is equal to T, which is equal to, you see, weight mg acts vertically down direction. So weight m2z there. As the block move like this, about this fixed point, about this point, here velocity of the ring in this direction, velocity of the block in this direction. So with respect to ring, what is the velocity of the block? V2 minus of minus V1, that is the relative velocity of the block with respect to ring. So about this point, as the block travel along the circular path like this, then it is having centrifugal force also. So here mv2 square by, here with respect to ring, velocity of this block in this direction is equal to V2 plus V1 by R. R means L. So m2 into mv square by R is the general formula. Suppose if this point is fixed, then the whatever the velocity of this body, that is the velocity of this body with respect to this fixed point. And the ring kuda move avutundi. Daniki velocity v1 kabatti with respect to ring, what is the velocity of the block means? Velocity of the block with respect to ring means relative velocity of the block with respect to ring. That is V2 minus V1. As V2 is in this direction, V1 is in opposite direction. V2 minus of minus V1 is the velocity of the block with respect to ring. That here, that velocity is the relative velocity. Relative velocity of the block with respect to ring is equal to V relative that is equal to VB minus VR. VB means V2 in this direction minus VR means velocity of the ring is in this direction. So V2 plus V1. So here M into relative velocity of the block with respect to ring is equal to VR, V relative. So V relative square by R. R means radius of circular path is equal to L, length L. V relative means you substitute this one, V2 plus V1. Therefore, T max is equal to M2Z plus M2 by L into V2 plus V1 whole square. This is the maximum tension. So, these are the different points. Okay. Now, okay, some points may not be there in the integrated material. Okay, you take the screenshot and later you write. I will already in my notes it is there. Already sent to you know. Notes I sent to you know. So in that notes this point is there. Okay. Shall I erase now? Shall I erase now? So today some more problems he can do. Based on these concepts, you can do some more problems. So now, in case of uniform, in case of the extended objects like bodies having uniform mass distribution, where we can locate where the center of mass lies. Where the center of mass lies, we have to derive the formula for them. Okay. So location of center of mass for various extended objects. Extended objects. First one, in case of arc, in case of here there is a ring, so not ring, there is a uniform wire bent in the form of an arc. There is a uniform wire which is bent in the form of arc. So it is the center of the arc. Here it is actually it is the wire. It is bent in the form of the arc as in the diagram. Here this is the arc. In case of arc, suppose the mass of this wire bent wire is say m. Mass of this bent wire is say m. Mass of this bent wire is m and length is say m. Okay, length is not given. Radius of this arc is say r. That is given. Angle subtended by this arc at the center is also given. That is theta. This is theta. Okay, this is given. We are given just radius of the arc and angle subtended by the arc at the center is given. M is not given. You imagine linear mass density of the arc is say lambda. Instead of mass here, you imagine the linear mass density. Linear mass density means mass per unit length. Let linear mass density is equal to lambda. Let linear mass density be lambda. Okay. Here, you imagine this arc is symmetric about the y-axis. you imagine arc is symmetric about the y-axis. It is a x-axis. No doubt, as the arc is symmetric about the y-axis, the central mass definitely lies on this line only, not along x-axis in this direction or in this direction. ఇది సిమెట్రిక్ గా ఉంది కాబట్టి ఇటువైపు ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉంది, ఇటువైపు కూడా అదే టైప్ లో ఉంది కాబట్టి సెంట్రల్ మాస్ డెఫినెట్ గా ఈ లైన్ మీద ఉంటుంది. x కోఆర్డినేట్ ఆఫ్ సెంట్రల్ మాస్ 0, y కోఆర్డినేట్ ఆఫ్ సెంట్రల్ మాస్ వి హావ్ టు ఫైండ్. ఆ y కోఆర్డినేట్ ఆఫ్ సెంట్రల్ మాస్ ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉంటుందో ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేస్తే దట్ ఈస్ ద ఆన్సర్. ఓకే, అది ఫాలో దిస్ వన్. As the arc of the circle is symmetric about the y-axis, definitely along x-axis the central mass of the arc lies on y-axis only, somewhere else. So in this case, x coordinate of central mass is 0. X coordinate of central mass is 0 as the arc is symmetric about y-axis. Okay, now you consider the small element. You consider the small element of length dl. Okay, here the line joining the element, two ends of the element at the center makes an angle, say theta, d theta at the center, d theta at the center. Of course, it alpha అనుకోండి. ఇక్కడ angle made by this arc at the center is say alpha, then it is d theta. Angle made by this element from the y-axis, that is say theta. ఇది theta అనుకుందాం. ఓకే, అప్పుడు ఈ యాంగిల్ ఎంత అండి? ఈ y-axis నుంచి ఇటువైపు ఇటువైపు ఆర్క్ ఎంత యాంగిల్ వరకు ఎక్స్టెండ్ అయి ఉంటుంది? వాట్ ఇస్ ద యాంగిల్ అప్ టు విచ్ దిస్ ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆర్క్ ఎక్స్టెండ్ ఫ్రమ్ ది y-axis? ఈ మొత్తం యాంగిల్ ఆల్ఫా కాబట్టి దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్ఫా బై 2. ఇది కూడా ఆల్ఫా బై 2 నేగా, ఇది కూడా ఆల్ఫా బై 2. ఓకే, నౌ along y-axis చూడండి from the origin, so this is the origin, center of the arc you imagine as origin. From the origin where the central mass of the arc lies, that we have to find. Actually, what is the formula for central mass? From the origin, y coordinate of central mass means m1 y1 plus m2 y2 plus m3 y3 like that by m1 plus m2 plus m3 and so on. Okay, here from the origin along y-axis, no doubt central mass lies on y-axis only. Central mass lies on y-axis only. X coordinate of central mass is 0 because it lies on y-axis. Okay, అయితే ఇక్కడ సెంట్రల్ మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆర్క్ ఆర్జిన్ దగ్గర నుంచి అంటే సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆర్క్ దగ్గర నుంచి ఇక్కడ ఎక్కడ ఉందనుకున్నాం, ఇది సెంట్రల్ మాస్ అనుకుంటే ఈ YCM ఎంతో క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలి. అంటే ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇక్కడికి డిస్టెన్స్, అది YCM. YCM ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు వస్తుంది. అది ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలంటే జనరల్ ఫార్ములా YCM ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు m1 y1 plus m2 y2 plus and so on by m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus and so on. This is general formula. అయితే YCM ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు ఇది కంటిన్యూస్ మాస్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్ ఉన్న బాడీ కాబట్టి ఈ ఎలిమెంట్ యొక్క మాస్ dm1 అనుకుందాం లేదా dm అనుకుందాం. ఈ ఎలిమెంట్ y యాక్సిస్ డైరెక్షన్ లో ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉంది? మాస్ m1 ఇంటూ డిస్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ పార్టికల్ ఫ్రమ్ ది ఆరిజిన్ along y యాక్సిస్. అట్లాగే మాస్ ఇంటూ డిస్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ ఎలిమెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ది ఆరిజిన్ along y యాక్సిస్ అంటే ఈ లెంత్ అంటే ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి r కదండి. ఇది theta అనుకున్నాం కాబట్టి this length is equal to r cos theta. No, this is r cos theta. This is r cos theta. That's why mass of the element into r cos theta, dm into r cos theta. Plus similarly, you imagine number of elements from this end to this end, then you add all of them. So this type of infinite number of elements can be imagined from this end to this end. You add all of them by total mass. That gives the central y coordinate of central mass. Instead of doing so, for one element you write m1 y1 like this, m1 dm1 into y1. Y1 means this along vertical direction or along y axis distance of this element from the origin along y axis. This one. Okay. So itla infinite number of elements man imagine chestunna vaatannitiki iటువంటి terms find out chesi add chesevaru. For one element you find like this and you do integration between the limits. This type of elements can be imagined from this end to this end, means from this about this y axis. What is the angle made here? Minus alpha by 2 to plus alpha by 2. So theta is equal to minus alpha by 2 to plus alpha by 2 integrated by total mass. dm is the mass of the element. So mass of one element. The total mass means from this end to this end, whatever the number of elements, their total mass. So we have to integrate them between the limits minus alpha by 2 to plus alpha by 2. So YCM is equal to integral. Are you followed this one? Remaining is only mathematical part we can do. Are you followed up to this? what are the limits? Siddharth, could you understand? Okay, what are you followed up to this? Remaining part is only mathematical part. Remaining part is only mathematical part. Okay, limits. It's only మనం కన్సిడర్ చేసిన ఎలిమెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ది y యాక్సిస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎట్ an angle theta. ఇటువంటి ఎలిమెంట్స్ ని ఈ ఎండ్ దగ్గర నుంచి ఈ ఎండ్ వరకు అంటే ఈ ఎండ్ అంటే y యాక్సిస్ నుంచి యాంగిల్ మెజర్ చేసాం కాబట్టి ఫ్రమ్ ది y యాక్సిస్ ఎట్ వాట్ యాంగిల్ దిస్ ఎలిమెంట్ లైస్ ఆల్ఫా బై 2. అయితే ఇటువైపు మన యాంగిల్ ఇటువైపు మెజర్ చేసాం కాబట్టి ఇటువైపు యాంగిల్ మైనస్ తీసుకోవాలి. మైనస్ ఆల్ఫా బై 2 నుంచి ఇటువైపు ఆల్ఫా బై 2 అంటే ఫ్రమ్ మైనస్ ఆల్ఫా బై 2 టు ప్లస్ ఆల్ఫా బై 2 we have imagined the number of elements from this end to that end. That's why between minus alpha by 2 plus alpha by 2 we had to do the integration. Okay, what is the time? Time is over. Okay, 10 minutes more. Right. Here, what is the mass of the element? Mass of the element means linear mass density lambda into length of the element dm. It is the mass of the element into r cos theta. Okay, by dm means linear mass density into length of the element. Of course, limits we have to write. Lambda is constant, you can write outside. Lambda integral. dl means dl is the length of the arc which subtends the angle d theta at the center. That's why d theta is equal to dl by r we can write now. Since angle subtended to the arc at the center is equal to length of the arc by radius. So dl is equal to r into d theta we can write. Lambda you write outside because it is constant. Sometimes lambda may be varied, so we should not write outside in that case. So lambda you write outside. dl means r into d theta into r cos theta whole by integral lambda you write outside. Here dl means r d theta. Lambda cancel. So that is equal to r square you write outside into integral cos theta into d theta whole by integral d theta. Limits minus alpha by 2 to plus alpha by 2, minus alpha by 2 to plus alpha by 2. Therefore, YCM is equal to r square into integral cos theta d theta means sin theta. Limits minus alpha by 2 plus alpha by 2 whole by integral d theta means theta. Limits minus alpha by 2 plus alpha by 2. Therefore, YCM is equal to r square into first you substitute upper limit. Sin theta means alpha by 2. Before substituting lower limit, you put minus sign. Minus r. Sin theta means sin minus alpha by 2. Whole by here alpha by 2 minus alpha by 2. Plus alpha by 2 means you get alpha. So this is equal to r square into here it is sin minus alpha by 2 means minus sin alpha by 2. Minus minus plus sin alpha by 2. That means 2 sin alpha by 2 you will get. By alpha. Is it r square correct? Here also r is there, no? Here also r is there. One r will be cancelled. So you get only r. That's all. You will have only r. Right. So therefore YCM is equal to 2r sin alpha by 2 whole by alpha. Here alpha must be in radian. So this is the the center of mass of the arc along y axis from the center of the ring, center of the arc. Center of the arc దగ్గర నుంచి center of mass of the arc along y axis అంటే ఇక్కడ the arc is symmetric about y axis. That's why it is having only y coordinate. Y coordinate of center of mass means from the center of the arc the center of mass is at a distance equal to 2r sin alpha by 2. So this is very important formula. Now based on this, if there is a quarter of circle, based on this, if it is the quarter of the circle, okay, you note down immediately. I will say that those 2 points also. Okay, are you follow this one? Are you follow this one? Right. If possible, for different cases, I will make a video and I will post in the WhatsApp group today, if possible, because tomorrow we can do the problems. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, now suppose we are given the semicircular ring. If you are given semicircular ring, second case, I set a general case. In case of semicircular ring, ఒకవేళ semicircular ring అయితే where the center of mass lies, it is the center of the semicircular ring. It is y-axis, it is x-axis, and semicircular ring is symmetric about the y-axis. Okay, semicircular ring is symmetric about the y-axis. No doubt center of mass lies on y-axis only. At what distance from the center of the ring? Because this is the center of mass of the arc from the center of the arc. Center of mass of the semicircular ring from the center of the semicircular arc. That is say YCM. What is YCM? We know YCM is equal to, in case of arc which subtends an angle alpha at the center, the formula is 2r sin alpha by 2 by alpha. Now in case of semicircular ring, here alpha is equal to how much? In case of semicircular ring, what is the alpha value? In case of semicircular ring, what is the alpha? Pi. Because the line this end and this end makes an angle pi. That's why alpha is equal to pi. Therefore, YCM is equal to 2r into sin alpha means pi by 2 by pi. Therefore, YCM is equal to 2r by pi. It is the distance of the center of the semicircular ring. It is the distance of the center mass of the semicircular ring from the center or from the center of the semicircular ring. Okay, now in case of quadrant of the circle, in case of quadrant of the circle, in case of quadrant of the circle, in this way for different objects, shall I keep in WhatsApp group? Shall I post in the evening study hour? Because in the evening study hour, maths hour will take. In mathematics study hour, physics study hour is there. In the study hour, you can see all these different cases. Shall I post in the WhatsApp group by making video? Okay, last point. Suppose quadrant of the circle is given. Quadrant of circle. Suppose we are having like this. It is the quadrant of the circle. No doubt it makes an angle. It is x-axis, it is y-axis. No doubt the quadrant of the circle is symmetric about this angular bisector, not about y-axis. The diagram is given like this. What are the coordinates of center of mass? They asked. What are the coordinates of center of mass? They asked. Suppose the center of mass lies here, say it is the position of the center of mass. Now the quadrant of the circle is symmetric about this axis, no? As it is 90, so this is equal to 45 degree. So angle subtended by this arc at the center is equal to no doubt pi by 2. Pi by 2. Okay, center of mass lies about the symmetry. Line of symmetry means this only, no? So center of mass lies at this point. So what is the distance of this point? That is say RCM. RCM is equal to general formula for RCM is equal to same 2r sin alpha by 2 by alpha. 2r sin alpha by 2 by alpha. But it is the distance of the center of mass from the center of the arc along the line of symmetry. Line of symmetry మీద ఇక్కడ line of symmetry అంటే y axis కాబట్టి y axis అని తీసుకున్నాం. ఇక్కడ line of symmetry అంటే ఇది. This is the line of symmetry. Line of symmetry మీద ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉందో ఆ డిస్టెన్స్ ఇక్కడ సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ మాస్ ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉందో సెంటర్ దగ్గర నుంచి సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆర్క్ దగ్గర నుంచి RCM డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉంది అనుకుంటే RCM is equal to 2r sin alpha by 2 by alpha. ఇప్పుడు ఆల్ఫా వాల్యూ సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి. 2r sin alpha means pi by 2 by 2 means pi by 4 by pi by 2. So this is equal to 4r by pi into sin 45 1 by root 2. That is equal to 2 root 2 r by pi, no? 2 root 2 r by pi. And ikkadi nunchi ikkada distance idi. So what about the x coordinate and y coordinate they asked? Ikkadi center of mass ki x coordinate x y coordinate y anukunte x is equal to ఇది r అండి. దాని కాంపోనెంట్ అలాంగ్ x యాక్సిస్ x కోఆర్డినేట్ అంటే ఈ డిస్టెన్స్ ఇది x అవుతుంది, ఇదేమో y అవుతుంది. x అంటే r cos 45 రాసుకోవచ్చు కదా. x is equal to rcm cos 45. rcm అంటే ఇది cos 45 రూట్ టు రూట్ క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతే 2r/π కదా. అట్లాగే y is equal to y కాంపోనెంట్ అంటే ఇది rcm కాబట్టి r sin 45, rcm sin 45 అది కూడా 1/√2 కాబట్టి రూట్ టు రూట్ క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతే 2r/π. therefore x coordinate and y coordinate of center of mass are xcm ycm. Here it is xcm ycm are 2r/π 2r/π. in this way you have to do. Here suppose if it is the disk, I don't want to say now, time is over. Okay, just I will give just a small information. In evening study hour I will record all the derivations for them and I try to post in WhatsApp group so that you can see. Today we cannot waste our time, we will not waste our time. Tomorrow we will do completely the important problems, that's enough. Okay, yeah, YouTube also I will keep in YouTube and I will post in WhatsApp group also. Okay, here we see, suppose if it is the disk, disk can be imagined as the combination of number of semicircular rings. Now it is a semicircular disk, say, then semicircular disk can be imagined as the combination of number of semicircular rings like this. Now, so each semicircular ring acts as one element. For that one element, the center of mass distance, by using that formula 2r/π we can write. So this type of semicircular rings can be imagined from this O to radius r. Then you integrate them. That gives the distance of center of mass of the semicircular disk from the center of the disk, from the center. In that way we can do. Okay, 4r/3π you will get, of course 4r/3π you will get like that. Okay, today I will keep entire video in WhatsApp group. Tomorrow we have to do only problems. Whatever the concept here, based on these different approaches you acquire the knowledge. Based on this knowledge definitely you can do more number of problems in our material. Okay, right now have a nice day. I am signing out.